best thing that has happened for me from a business perspective in the last like 12 months is getting my brother really into business. Because now it's like me and him are like,
dude, he's a killer, bro.
Yeah, dude, he's shocked me with like how good he is at like what he does and like how quick it is too. And it's like, honestly, that's like the best. That's like one of my favorite parts about like everything I do is like the fact that my brother's like so involved in it. And me and him are like a team now. Like we're literally talking like all day about like this and that. And it makes it seem more like fun than it is work. And I think like when it comes to like mixing friends and business, there is like a certain, you need to always like have that conversation. Like I've had this conversation with Ben, like look, like our friendship comes first. And if you ever feel like this is like deterring that, like tell me, we'll figure it out. Cause it's like, that's what I prioritize more. Like you can replace clients, you can replace even business partners, but it's like, you can't really replace like your brothers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, bro. It's been a long time coming.
You said you want to make this the most entertaining episode of Stick Talk podcast ever.
Should I look at the camera at you?
Just look at us.
You get whatever seems.
This is going to be
bro.
the least valuable episode that you've ever created, but I promise it'll be like top 5 or 10 most entertaining.
We've only had 10
because honestly, like who listens to a podcast these days to like actually learn? Like if you want to be entertained, stay through the end of this. If you want to get value, go do something else.
So we're not going to talk about webinars? What do you want to talk about, bro?
What's your favorite trinket, bro?
My favorite trinket?
What's a trinket?
Trinket's just like a blanket term for like any like little
toy
knick-knack. Like, no, like knick-knack. Like I would consider like my shoes like a trinket.
Oh, okay.
Like you make money, so you go buy trinkets.
Oh, okay.
Buc-ee's has a lot of
That's
trinkets.
a nice trinket on your wrist. What type watch is that?
It's a trinket.
Okay, what type of trinket is it?
It's
I like
a AP trinket. Collab, like everything. I just call everything like trinket.
Okay.
Like any inanimate object.
What about a car?
Big trinket.
Big trinket. Fast trinket.
Mm-hmm.
So you moved from the best city in Florida to the second best city in Florida. How's that been?
Miserable.
No, really though. How has it been in Miami compared to Tampa?
It's awesome, bro. It's literally just like online business, like college, because we just have, I mean, it's kind of like similar thing to here where it's like very like there's dozens and dozens of people who are like in your immediate kind of like industry.
Yeah.
And then even outside of that, there's just like a ton of other people who are just crushing it in everything else. So it's very like inspiring. It's very like eye-opening, but at the same time, like there's definitely a lot of like benefits that come with living somewhere like a little bit more laid back and not as like hectic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's good for a little while, but I can never like see myself living there forever.
Yeah, I feel like it's a short-term place to be. It's like while you can do it
exactly
and take advantage of all the opportunities there. Who are some of the guys out there now? Is just Ben and Mason mostly, or?
I mean, like just in our immediate like friend group, like Ben, Mason, Luke, Jimmy, who else? Like they all live like literally, like and like a bunch of other guys. Like my brother works for KT, he's become a good friend. Like just like a lot of people who like were friends first and then clients second.
Yeah.
And then obviously like that has like a compounding thing to it where it's like when you work with people on like a client relationship, it's very like transactional. But when you're like going out to dinner with your boys and like, you know, they see you that way, then it's like you get to kind of like cross-pollinate almost. Like you end up meeting people from like all different like places, and because people, you know, live somewhere else before they lived in Miami. So like, oh, I know so-and-so from when I lived here, or like I know so-and-so because of this. And it's like, it really like, I didn't have anywhere close to like the network that I have now
in Tampa
until I moved. And it's like, because I'm like physically in this place. Because like, obviously I don't do a ton like online. So I'm kind of like, or I was kind of like limited in that way, but like I've always been like an in-person kind of person.
I was going to say, bro, like you're not really on social media.
Yeah.
Like compared to everyone else in this space, like you're not really present on social media, which I think is cool because still everyone knows you.
Yeah.
And I think it's because like when you're in person, like you just carry such like a unique presence that like people just enjoy being around. Like the comedic relief, of course.
Thank you.
So it's just interesting. Like is that like intended? Like you don't want to grow on social media?
No, it was honestly because like when I was doing the stuff I was doing before, like online business, like sports cards and stuff, like I like to like lay low because there was no real purpose to being like really big. And I've kind of just like kept that because I like privacy and I like, you know, like staying to myself sometimes. But also at a certain point, you have to realize like the common denominator between all of the guys who are like crushing it the hardest is audience,
The personal brand.
obviously.
Yeah.
So like, I think lately I've kind of had more of like a realization like, okay, like me, like not putting myself out there is actually kind of hurting me in a way. But also at the same time, like obviously I think like having a really good network is better than having a personal brand. Cause like if people know you, like if you're like B2B, like anything like that,
Yeah.
and people know your name, like in the business owner kind of space, then that's even better than people just following some
you.
random like self-development guy who like has nothing to like bring to the table.
Yeah.
So it's like,
there's like a nerd in person.
yeah, I don't think it's like 100% necessity, but it definitely like, opens up a lot of doors. Same way like having a network does. It's like if you have neither, then you're kind of screwed. There's like very few other ways to make yourself stand out, but you need to have at least one.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, what can you do in Miami that you can't do in Tampa? So like I had lunch with your brother today, Kishan, and he's telling me how he's moving to Miami
Yeah.
later this year. And we were laughing because he's basically saying he's going to be doing the same exact thing 99% of the time, working in his apartment that he'd be doing here. So like what happens? Like what's the 1% outside of like when you're in the day to day that makes it worth it? Is it like the dinners you're talking about, or like what are some things you do? And this is for anyone in the audience, like when you're surrounded by other entrepreneurs, like what does that look like?
I think the big difference in living in like a tier 1 city versus a tier 2 is like people pass through Miami, whereas like they don't really pass through Tampa. Like honestly, they do now because of your guys' events. But like before, like when I first met you guys, before like all the CA events, none of the like entrepreneurs that you would want to meet were just like randomly like stopping by in Tampa.
Yeah.
But like in Miami, it's like, oh, so-and-so is here for 3 or 4 days. Like he wants to grab dinner with us. Like you want to do that. And it's like, even just that like little thing alone opens up a ton of doors. But also it's not all about business stuff. Like it's just like Miami's just like a cool place to be. There's a lot going on. It's very like exciting. And it's very like inspiring because it just shows you like being abnormal is normal in a way. Like being like you meet like people who are like extraordinary and like everything they do, and it's like they're all like in the same place. And it's like it's not even about business. It's like the best artists are there, the best like, you know, talent across like any kind of industry. Like they all kind of meet up there.
It's like a bubble for like innovation.
Exactly.
And like people that are like achieving at a really high level.
Yeah. And like you come here and not to like, but there is like a very big difference. Like here, it's like a lot of just like, you know, like families and like stuff like that. And it's like, I think at a certain point, like one is better than the other, but it's definitely like different experiences.
I think the bar of excellence is just so much higher in Miami than it is in Tampa. And that's the big difference. Or like any tier 1 city, like to be in the top 1% in LA, Miami, New York City, like you have to be absolutely crushing it.
Yeah.
Like you're worth 8 figures minimum. Here in Tampa, it's not that difficult to get to the 1%.
Yeah.
So like if you're an ambitious person by nature, I think it's helpful to be in that tier 1 environment because you're naturally going to still want to be in that top 1%. You just have to achieve more.
The biggest thing that I learned when I moved there, and I've like talked about this a little bit, is like when you're like sitting with people who are like at the top of their industries and you realize that they're not that much smarter than you. They're like not working like like obviously they're working very hard, but they're not like working 19 hours a day.
Yeah.
And you just like, you have to like be around those people like intimately, kind of like, you know, like just like grabbing like a normal lunch with them or just like hanging out with them, going to the gym, whatever.
He's right here.
To really like understand that like there is no difference between when I lived here, I would build other people up in my head. I would be like, oh, like so-and-so must be like super smart or like super talented or must have like this crazy like stroke of luck. But then you realize like the more that you're around like people who are really good at what they do, it's like it's a lot more about positioning than it is like unhuman kind of thing that
they're just as capable as you.
Exactly. Yeah. And you start to like see that over time and you're like, wait, like I can do the exact same thing that they're doing. And that's like aside from business, like just like people who are just talented in any kind of way. Cause like I said, Miami, it's like, it's all kinds of people.
But does Miami have a stew?
No, it's impossible.
There's only one stew.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people listening still don't know what it is that you do exactly, because you don't have that presence and like you're not constantly like somebody like Daniel pushing an offer on people. So can you give everybody a little background about like who you work with and like what you actually do for them?
Yeah. So me and Ben are business partners, Ben Vader, and we run like a full stack info marketing agency. So a lot of the guys that you see that are really big on like money, Twitter, or just like Instagram, YouTube, like guys who have big followings, we help scale their companies. So everything on the back ends, like we've even started to help with like sales process and stuff like that. But a lot of just like everything that comes with marketing, so like whether it's funnels, VSLs, webinars, email, like we basically like run everyone's back end, and we're just like their like internal like COO and CMO for like our
just helping them monetize the traffic.
Exactly. Because like the thing that you'll find is like a lot of these guys are just like, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, like a lot of their businesses are still a mess, and they just need someone to come in and like put attention to detail in certain places that were like being neglected before. Just because like one person, especially if they're like a content creator, this is the thing that I've learned, people who are really good at content, usually like that takes up a lot of their focus and a lot of their energy. So it's more like effective for them to like outsource that kind of stuff than it is to try to like manage everything internally.
Yeah. It's kind of what we've done with client ascension, right? Like Daniel's really good at like concentrating traffic and like sending traffic to different offers. And then like we've really like constructed the back end of making the operation actually functional.
Exactly. We always work with less than 10 clients just because we're always very like involved in the day to day. Like, so that's just the way we've chosen to run it. And honestly, like the best part from my like perspective is like all of our clients are honestly like friends too. So it's like, it feels really good when you're like contributing to someone who like you see as like a close friend rather than just like the very like transactional client relationship. Because like, honestly, the biggest thing that I've noticed is like a lot of people just don't take pride in their work and they don't have any like attention to detail. But for me, like when we're working with guys like Mason or Luke or whoever it is, like guys who I consider close friends, it's like I really care about like what we're doing. So it's like, that's why I said like a lot of our clients now, we're friends first, and then like you get to building like that personal relationship, and then they're like, okay, how can I like fit you into our business? We need this and this. And like someone like KT, for example, good friend, like now my brother works with him. So like my brother's, we have a handful of clients now where like my brother's very involved in their sales team, and then me and Ben are running the marketing. So it's like cool because we're getting to see like both sides of the business and like just, I would rather have my brother managing their team than anyone else, just because I know that it's going to be done the right way. Yeah. And that's kind of like the reputation that we've built up too, is like, if you want something done the right way, like you might pay us a little more, but like, you know, it's going to get done the right way. So
yeah, I love that, dude. I think it's important. Like it's the same way we've designed client ascension. Like Dan, Christian, and I were boys before business partners.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's why it works the way it does. But I feel like you'll hear a lot of people that say like, don't mix like friends and business, or don't mix family and business. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, honestly, bro, the best thing that has happened for me from a business perspective in the last like 12 months is getting my brother really into business. Cause now it's like me and him are like,
dude, he's a killer, bro.
Yeah, dude, he's shocked me with like how good he is at like what he does and like how quick it is too. And it's like, honestly, that's like the best. That's like one of my favorite parts about like everything I do is like the fact that my brother's like so involved in it, and me and him are like a team now. Like we're literally talking like all day about like this and that, and it makes it seem more like fun than it is work. And I think like when it comes to like mixing friends and business, there is like a certain, you need to always like have that conversation. Like I've had this conversation with Ben, like, look, like our friendship comes first, and if you ever feel like this is like deterring that, like tell me, and we'll figure it out. Because it's like, that's what I prioritize more. Like you can replace clients, you can replace even business partners, but it's like you can't really replace like your brothers.
Yeah.
So I think you can definitely do it. And honestly, it feels really good when you do it right, because I would rather be, you know, doing it with my friends and like people who I think are going to be in my life like 5, 10, 15 years, whatever, than just people where it's like, you're a client for 90 days. And then it's like
very transactional, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think one, playing the long game, like, we're going to be friends for life, so I'm not going to mess this up based on like a really short-term business decision.
Yeah.
And then 2, doing it the right way. I think a lot of people are hesitant because they know that they can't actually deliver.
Exactly, bro. Like if you know that you're good at what you do, why wouldn't you want to do it for your friend?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's the first people you'd go to.
Exactly. So it's
be like, yo, look at this great opportunity.
because if you're trying to just burn clients and like get by just like doing the bare minimum, like you don't want to work with your friends because you're going to mess up your friends' businesses. But if you know that you're gonna crush it, like why wouldn't you want to crush it for your friends?
Facts.
Yeah, a lot of people just do a horrible job of setting expectations.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of that's controllable too. Like one thing I'm really big on is you need to have like a vested interest with all of your clients. Like I never charge anyone flat because I know that I'm gonna slack, like compared to guys where we have vested interest. So it's like there's certain things that you can do to like basically force yourself to perform better. And like honestly, working with your friends is a good thing because it's like I'm not trying to like screw over one of my friends. No. Like I want to do a good job because you're my friend. Because like
you're gonna go the extra mile without really thinking about it too much.
Vested interest meaning like rev share, performance based.
I think that anyone who runs any kind of like service based business needs to always be incorporating performance because it's like I know it firsthand. Like if someone pays me flat for something, I'm not going to do as good of a job as if I have vested interest, and that's just like human nature. Like, humans need to be incentivized to do basically anything.
Especially, and that works for you guys too because you only have 10 clients. The only time it doesn't make so much sense is if you're scaling more into like info and like not as involved in the service delivery, because then the economies of scale just don't really make sense. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, there's like a certain size of
like it wouldn't make sense for Mason to charge performance based.
Exactly. Yeah, but like once you get to a certain point, I think it makes sense to have everything in house. But also like most people aren't at that point. 99.5% of people aren't at that point. So
they're not even close. Where do all your clients just come from referral and just like the personal network?
Yeah, it's just all inbound. Like me and Ben like kind of make a joke out of it. Like every once in a while we'll do like a cold DM and I'll just be like, I did one. like I did 3. Like
hit my quota for the month.
Yeah, like I remember Ben sent me one. He was like, I did an outreach message. I was like, good job, bro. Like do another one. But
so is it really just like you two, Kishan, and then maybe like a couple other like contractors that you use, or is there anybody else?
We have one
that's like
contractor. We have one contractor. My brother's not necessarily a part of our team. He's just like we like kind of like
it's a complimentary service.
Yeah. So like all of the clients that he manages for, he'll end up figuring out some way that
to get you involved,
and then vice versa.
Nice.
That's smart. That is crazy. So it's literally you, Ben, and a VA essentially.
No, he's a copywriter. It's our friend. It's Harry.
Who is it?
Harry Swills.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So VA. A Texas VA.
Exactly.
A Texas-based VA.
Exactly.
And that's another example too, because he's really good friends with you guys as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is he out in Miami yet or no?
I think he moved to Utah, right?
Bro, I don't even know. He's like, I talked to him like a week ago, and he was like, I'm gonna go spend the next 18 months in like South America. And I was like,
knock yourself out.
Just keep writing copy.
Yeah. I don't know. He loves to like roam. I can't do that.
I've never understood it, man. The people who are like, I want to spend a year in Colombia. I'm like, dude, why?
I need to have a gym and a car and like
I just
love America. Yeah. Every time I come back from like a trip that's over like a week, I'm like,
what would you do without Buc-ee's, man?
I don't know. Nothing. I would cease to exist without Buc-ee's.
There's one coming to Tampa.
You see one's coming to Tampa?
No way.
A Buc-ee's.
Really?
That might actually get him to move back.
It's like 2025, 2026. So it's perfect timing.
That is perfect.
You got another year or so in Miami, and then you come back here and you take over the manager role at Buc-ee's.
The manager role at Buc-ee's.
Imagine.
I want to be like the head beaver salesman.
I can see you in the costume.
I was gonna say,
actually, that's what I want to do when I retire. I want to be the beaver that like walks around selling people like pulled pork sandwiches like at the gas station. Like, you really need this sandwich. You look starved.
Between that and the aquarium,
I've still never been to a Buc-ee's. Feel left out of the conversation.
Yeah, like I used to always like make up the most ridiculous things whenever people would ask me like what I do, because I would be like at dinner with like Ben, Mason, Luke, like whoever, and they'd be like, so like, what do you do? And I'm like I would like cycle through answers. So like,
what was the one about
armadillo dealer?
Armadillo salesman. Everyone believed that. Literally, all you have to do is have an album on your phone of like baby armadillos. And I was like, look, I took these at the farm the other day, and everyone's like, oh my god, like you're not joking. And then that one
selling candy.
That one got old, so I said my dad invented strawberry milk, and I just live off of like the royalty from it.
How do you think of that shit?
I don't know. I literally just like thought of it like on the spot one day. I'll figure out another one. Like I like the strawberry milk one for now.
That's
like,
a really good one.
Yeah,
because nobody knows who invented strawberry milk.
Exactly. I made up like this whole story. I'm like, so like no one knows this, but like in the 60s, like Nesquik almost went out of business. They needed to figure out another way to sell milk. And my dad was like, chocolate like clearly isn't working. Let's do strawberry. And they were like, you're a genius. And I like made up all these numbers, and I was like, yeah, like my dad, you know.
Wait, they have strawberry cows?
Yeah, he figured out how to biologically create a strawberry cow.
That's pretty based.
That's a legend, bro.
I know. And then they're like, so what do you do? I'm like, nothing.
Just drink a lot
Stay
of
at home,
strawberry
son.
milk.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you were the first guy over there to put everybody on the boxing because you were boxing over in Tampa. Is that something you still do?
No, I
every
wasn't
week?
the first one. Luke was fighting before I was.
Oh yeah, was he doing boxing or?
He was
or
doing like MMA.
Yeah,
Bro, do you want to fight at the Client Ascension event?
yeah. That's
October?
where I was going with
Who do
this.
I
Yeah,
want?
We
I mean,
actually
dude,
have
I-
a confirmed boxing
I
fight
really
at the
like
next event.
stopped, honestly, because dude, I love my gym.
I kind of want to be on that card. How do I get on?
Bro, we have a legit fight lined up for the event.
Who's fighting?
Ori, do you know Ori?
Yeah, I know.
And Shen, our student success coach,
Okay.
who's over in the UK, who actually
Who else is
boxes.
on the card?
That's it so far.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know if I'll fight, but like one of my friends will fight. Because,
Bro, let's get another fight on there.
Okay.
That's gonna be so legendary. It's like actually confirmed. Like they're like Ori is training.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the gym and trains, and same with Shen. And like they're shit talking in the Client Ascension Slack.
Shen's
Yeah.
going to cook, bro.
So yeah, we just gotta find
we should probably look at like insurance and shit.
oh yeah, I told them they're all signing
Insurance for
waivers.
what?
They're all signing waivers to make us not
I mean,
liable.
okay, like really, like you're not gonna like kill anyone.
no, I think Shen might kill.
These are two bigger guys, and Ori has to have like old man strength.
Dude, did you see the video of him
Yeah,
training?
yeah.
Dude was like, he's sharp, bro.
All right,
Yeah,
so who can we match Sanjay up with?
I don't know. You need to give me notice because I'm like super rusty.
You got 6 months, bro.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I didn't train for like 6 months, and then I just kind of started again. I just like
I want to fight. I'll get Joey to train me up.
should we fight?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys should
you guys can
fight.
fight.
Do we have good do we stack up? I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we like? I don't.
All right, let's see.
Weight wise, you guys are probably pretty similar.
No, why boy wait more than you?
No, because
Oh, bro, that is dude, that's the perfect matchup.
Okay, I'll fight Christian.
Yeah. All right, so Sanjay versus Christian.
That was pretty.
That was quick. There we go.
Me and Andre are the promoters of this thing.
Yeah, I'm just the promoter. I get people there. And
Okay,
I don't want to
so,
fight you though,
so
bro. I like you. I don't want.
Here's what's gonna happen. This is gonna be like I'm gonna become the Miami guy because this is the Tampa guy. and we're gonna have,
Tampa
like,
versus Miami.
Yeah.
Let me fight Tampa
dude.
Terrence on the undercard,
It's
bro.
perfect, bro. Dude, are you guys actually in for that, Christian? Are you serious? You have 6
I don't know
months.
if I want to fight you, bro.
Okay, well, let's figure something out off camera because we need to like go through like a list of like potential.
Yeah. But we need to get another fight on the card.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go through like getting like an actual ring rented out and
Yeah.
having Ori and Shen
Daniel
fight.
Serge
You could do it
Guittari.
at my old gym. They would definitely rent it out.
Is that the one
Tampa
you went
City.
to? Tampa City. That was the one I looked up.
Yeah.
I already put it in an inquiry.
Yeah, they would do that.
Yeah.
It's honestly sick. I love it.
So that's gonna be part of the Client Ascension event. I think that's gonna make it pretty legendary.
Nah, I kind of want to get on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and
I don't
Connor.
think we could find someone to fight you, bro.
Connor Sunderland.
Oh, dude. me
Oh,
and
Connor
would be
Sunderland
great.
would be crazy.
Connor would be great.
Dude, that
I
would
think
be
Connor's
legendary.
brother's like an MMA promoter in Ireland too.
Damn.
I can see Connor being a good fighter. Good scrapper.
Let's just get Joey to fight somebody MMA. on
Give
the
me
card.
someone to
No.
call out like on
That's a
the-
liability.
Who should I call out? Like I don't really have like any enemies.
Maybe Ben.
I'm not gonna fight Ben.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can't.
We
Well, the
want
whole
it-
thing is like
I want it to be someone that we don't like.
you're friends with everybody.
Yeah, I just can't really think of someone that Luke would be great for this.
Yeah.
You versus Luke?
No. Like Luke would kick my ass, but
Luke,
like,
would be like ready to fight.
Yeah,
Luke
anyone.
would. Yeah, Luke would definitely.
Oh, we could get him a fight.
Yeah,
That would be so. That
Luke
would be
has
so
a
big.
million enemies. So
Yeah. Yeah, but like, is anyone at the level that he's at for boxing?
yeah. I mean, there's got to be someone.
Yeah, of course. You're just gonna find somebody like Ori or Shenny who trains a lot.
Dude, Ori versus Shenny's gonna be legendary. It's gonna be so.
What else can we do for entertainment?
That's enough, bro. For the
We
for
gotta
the
get
event.
like 3 fights. I'll be the bookie for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need to have betting lines set up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We should do a case study on how this helps with employee retention.
I feel like people are like
They just always stick around.
they probably think we're joking, but like this is like a real thing.
Some people do HR, and we make our employees fight each other.
Yeah, it's like a
I'll
real
fight
thing.
Niall.
It's a healthier way to
Fight Lewis.
go through conflict.
That actually is true.
It's like that episode of Billions. Christian, you watch that one where they're all fighting each other and they have like the charity boxing match.
Yeah.
Basically doing the same thing as X Capital.
Dude. I'm not a fighter, but I want to fight. I don't know why.
Dude, make up your mind.
I don't
We can
know.
do a basketball tournament too.
Little golf outing.
That was fun. The Internet Kids one that they put on.
Oh, that was great.
It was a good time.
Basketball tournament. That was a great event way back in the day. Are they bringing Internet Kids back? What's the deal with that?
Probably not.
No?
I don't know.
I love the merch, bro. Just keep making merch.
Yeah, they should just not do anything with NFTs and just make it straight merch.
No, they already scrapped that. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, I feel like all NFTs have been scrapped. Christian, you still holding any NFTs?
Sadly.
You're not going to.
sorry for your loss,
Yeah.
What's there to do with them?
brother.
Sorry for your massive losses.
I don't know.
Is living in Miami expensive?
Yeah.
We talked to Mason on the podcast. What were his monthly expenses?
Yeah,
Like,
Mason's like spending $100K a month. That's a little bit different.
Mason's a little extravagant.
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not relatable.
How much you need to live like a good, comfortable life in Brickell?
It really depends, bro. Like you can do it if you're making, like, I know people who are making like 10 and, you know, they can do it, but it's not like, I don't know. It really depends on like what you do for fun. Like it's kind of like the same thing as like here, you know.
Hey, what do you do for fun, for example? In Miami?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Like, what's an average weekend look like for you? Or do you just get all the degeneracy out on like the
Dude, I don't go
Tampa
out
trip?
anymore.
So it's just when you're in Tampa.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That makes sense.
That makes sense. So it's actually nothing.
Yeah. I don't do anything.
You just work nonstop.
All right. What does he do? What does he do for fun?
Yeah, we got your girlfriend behind the camera here, so get
Yeah.
coffee.
I've really like taken it a step back. Yeah. Since I left.
You shoot guns?
Yeah. But like, that's not like a weekly thing. It's
No.
just like,
Do you bet on sports still?
no.
Oh my goodness.
Damn, bro.
Yeah. Isn't it
You've
crazy?
changed a lot.
Yeah.
What about moving to Miami made you stop the dream of trying to hit a 15-leg parlay to retire?
That was Ben's dream, not mine.
Is Ben still pursuing that dream?
It's my dream.
None of us really do it anymore. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I stopped betting.
I would do it, like, I would gamble when I go to Vegas, maybe just because, like,
Are the quarterly Vegas trips still going?
no, I haven't been in like a year and a half.
Damn, bro. What
Bro,
happened
that
to
was
you?
crazy. You were going to Vegas like every month.
Yeah, it was like, I know that place like the back of my hand. Like, and I don't miss it, honestly.
Oh, I hate that place.
It's the
It
worst.
gives me nightmares.
Even here, like, whenever I'm here, like, getting a good night's sleep is pretty rare.
In Tampa? Oh, because you're like going out and stuff? Or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. So, like, I sleep so good in Miami. I go to bed at like 10:30, like every night.
What time you get up?
8:30.
Oh, so you do sleep good.
Get
Yeah,
some
I
sleep.
I sleep really good. That's like my biggest flex.
That's what you do for fun?
Man sleeps better than any other entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's what,
That's not true.
that's what he does.
Because
for
some
fun.
people take so much pride in how well they sleep. Like they
Yeah,
track
the
it down to
biohacker
Are you a
guys.
Huberman type?
No.
No.
You still
Alright,
consume
Dude,
seed
literally
oils?
in the past 45 minutes, I've had like 6 different stimulants.
That's
like
a good
what?
thing though.
Espresso.
I mean,
Espresso.
we were sitting downstairs and I was like quadruple fisting like Irish coffee, espresso martini, like what else? Normal coffee, like cigar,
You had a normal coffee here too?
Zins.
That's good. That's a
hookah,
good rotation.
Those are like the healthiest stimulants.
Yeah.
yeah, caffeine and nicotine and alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, alcohol's not a stimulant.
Is it not? No?
No.
But you just throw it in there.
It's depressant. It's the opposite.
I think
Yeah.
alcohol is good for the soul. If you drink sake. Oh yeah, that's all I drink now, sake.
Why?
Because it's
Just-
literally it's the best. Like it's just everything else is inferior. Am I even talking into the microphone? I feel like I haven't been
Yeah, you're
talking.
good.
Okay.
No, we haven't picked up any of it.
I feel like I haven't been talking into the microphone this whole time. I like,
Can you-
forgot I was here.
Can you just buy sake at the store?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I
It's
feel like
no hangover. Gets you just as drunk. It's like if wine and tequila had a baby. I'm like the sake guy.
really.
Yeah.
What do you mix it with?
Nothing. You just take-
What?
It tastes really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Every time I'm at hibachi, I'm just like, no,
No, you're missing out.
no sake.
The fact they give it to you like just for free too. Like they just like they do it out of the little like plastic
PP bottle?
right? Yeah.
The little.
They just like spray it at you.
You never had the little kid thing and like
Oh yeah.
squirts out of his pee.
Yeah.
I feel like this is
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn.
What's your guys' go-to dinner spots out there? Awesome, good food recommendations. 'Cause that's what I enjoy most about traveling now. It's just like hitting the nicest restaurants in the area.
There's literally so it'll take me 10 years of living in Miami to go like we eat a lot of sushi. It's like it's all gonna be sushi, but like it depends like how obnoxious of an experience you want. Like if you want like a really like Miami experience, like really loud, like really bad service, really like mediocre food, like I could give you a list.
Who wants that?
Everyone that goes to Miami.
That really is kind of like the Miami vibe. What's the best place for sushi that you've been?
Oh, yeah, Osaka's really good.
Is Nobu overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still like fine.
Nobu's great. It's just super expensive. I feel like you can get like the same quality sushi for half the price.
Yeah. I don't know. It's never about like the quality of food there. It's just like
It's more about the experience.
no, it's
It's
just
like the status signaling.
no, it's just like I don't know what else to do with my night. Like where should we go?
Oh, for Nobu, you're saying?
Yeah.
You go out to, do you ever cook?
No.
Ever?
No, I used to cook when I lived here. Why are we talking about food?
I don't know.
Okay.
Kind of getting hungry.
Just food's a good topic, bro.
Yeah, I don't cook anymore. I just eat at a cafe that I won't disclose the name of because it's already blown up.
I know
So-
what it is. It a 3-letter word?
Yeah.
Gotta gatekeep it.
Where Steve will do it was?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, so when you guys are looking at hard pivot, by the way, back to business, like growing the
I was
actual.
gonna say, like, what do we do?
So like, I guess, how do you set projections? Because now like, hey, I'm going to sign 5 more clients this quarter. Are you just doing it on like a client to client basis? Then if one client doesn't have enough upside, do you ever drop them and swap another one in? Or like, how do you guys think?
Yeah,
about
we
that?
do that. It's kind of just like everyone's at different stages. Like we've worked with offers from like flat 0.
Yeah.
And then we've worked with guys who like they just need like one little thing. Like they're already, doing crazy numbers and they just need us for like one little thing. So it's like everyone's kind of at a different point on like the spectrum of like having everything kind of figured out with their offers. So like, we have some clients that are, they've only been running their offer for 4 or 5 months. And we have some who are like very well established. So I wouldn't say it's that like linear or that like binary where it's like, oh, good client, bad client. But it's just like, what do they need from us? How much upside do we think there is? Like, do we like working with them?
That's why you keep such a small client base, because it's not the same thing every single time.
Yeah, exactly. It's very like bespoke, which honestly, like if I'm being objective, like it kind of sucks, like not having like one, like sometimes it sucks, but it also makes you like very hard to replace. Cause like the name of the game to me, because like so many, like there's so many people getting into this like agency world. It's like, you have to like find what makes you stand out. And for us, it's like the fact that we'll kind of go outside the box and like go above and beyond, just because like we know like you want to make yourself hard to replace. You don't want to just do one service. Like you can, like you.
Yeah, because the moment somebody else figures it out, you have a new competitor who's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, like you need to figure out how to build a moat in some way. And for us, that's honestly like kind of like relationships, like just being someone that people enjoy working with, and then also just like being very like multifaceted in what we do. Just like making it easy for them, because it's like literally like what it turns into is like, okay, you go get eyeballs and we'll figure out how to monetize it. That's basically like the premise of like all of our clients once we've kind of gotten like fully integrated with them. So it's like, we like to make it simple for them, because that's what people want. They don't want to have to like manage their agencies and stuff. Like you want to make it very like easy for them.
Well, to do what they're good at doing, which is just generating.
Yeah, like we have some clients who are
traffic.
just so good at content, but they're not like as good with, like all the back end stuff, like all the like that stuff is annoying to them. And that's like our perfect client, because it's like, okay, like go do what you're good at and we'll go do what we're good at.
Yeah, because the only like the alternative is they need to find like a COO.
Yeah, and also like with what we do, you would have to hire like 3 or 4 people usually to replace us, and it's like some people or like most people don't want to go through that entire like period of like, okay, now I have to go hire this guy and this guy and this guy, and then this guy leaves and I have to go replace him. So it's like they just come to us because it's just like easy. Like people want convenience, people want easy. So
if you and Ben are the moat in this situation, you can correct me if you don't think that is the case, but it sounds like you guys kind of are, because you're willing to do bespoke work. You're willing to go above and beyond. A lot of these guys are your friends. Have you ever wanted to be like, let's start an offer where we can like completely remove ourselves from delivery? Or is that something that like you guys just have no interest in?
I think we're kind of working that way now. But honestly, like when I like started in all of this like agency space, like literally this sounds like kind of weird, but all I wanted was to have clients that I could like go to dinner with. Like I wanted clients that were like friends too. Like that's literally like, because that's like who I am. I'm a very like social person. Like I love, like I'm very extrovert. Like I love talking to people. I have no problem being on calls for like 6 hours in a day because like it's really not a big deal to me. So I was like, I want to build what I'm doing around like who I am. And it's like, that's kind of what it's turned into, where it's like whenever like one of our clients is like coming to town on Wednesday, like we're going to go out with them. Yeah. And like, that's what I wanted. So like, I think the moat that we have is just kind of like being able to just take care of a lot of things that would be annoying for them. Like we'll help play sales reps. We'll help, like my brother will help manage the team. We'll help with like whatever we need to, whatever we feel comfortable, like, doing, like we'll do it because we know that that's like what makes us stand out. Where it's like a lot of people, they're very like transactional. They're like, oh, like this wasn't in the deliverable, so you need to like pay me more to do it. Whereas it's like for us, like, yes, like we'll adjust it at some point, but it's not about like, it's not about like getting every last nickel out of someone like this month.
And I feel like because you guys are friends with them, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Like let's test this thing out. And if it works,
exactly. And it makes it a lot more fun too. Like we've, like I said, worked with clients basically from zero. And it's like when you hit like those big milestones, it's like, it feels really good because you know that you were a big piece of it. And like, and they're your boys too. So it's like,
so you can celebrate together and it's like fun like that. And I think one thing you guys have done really well is like innovate, right? Because like when we were working with you guys back then, it was like a webinar to sell like a lower ticket product, right? And now kind of what you're doing is like a webinar to book a call for a higher ticket product. So like you guys have like been able to see how the industry is changing and like different conversion mechanisms. And that probably is a result of like being so involved with each of your clients.
I think it's also like me and Ben are also just very like impulsive and we're just like, shoot, like we should just drop everything and do this. Like, and we just like feed off of each other.
Which is way easier to do when it's just two people.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to go like
we're just like, this kind of like sucks. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, let's do this instead. And like, that's just kind of like we've been good friends for a long time, but I feel like we've always been very impulsive.
Yeah. How'd you guys meet? You and Ben?
From Arlen's group.
Arlen Moore's? Yeah.
That's how I met like everyone I know now. Or at least that was like the beginning of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then how did you guys decide to partner? Was it like you decided to partner and then you started doing work together?
No, I was doing other stuff. Like I was doing obviously like sports card stuff and I got into like agency stuff. I think Ben was getting a little burnt out with like client work just because like, when you're doing what we do as like a one-man show, like it's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. So I think he was getting kind of burnt out with client work, but like he knew that he was onto something like good in terms of like what the market needs. So like we just like I was just like, hey, like I want to like help with this because like I only had like a few clients at the time. And I was like, I just want to like help with this, like like whatever you need, like whatever. And I think we found out that we work pretty well together, and like it made it a lot easier for both of us because neither of us are ever like really stressed with fulfillment. Like honestly, it's never like overwhelming. So I think that's like a good part of it. But also like I think a lot of people have like very unnecessary partners. Like I think you really have to like it really has to make sense. Like it shouldn't just like a lot of people are just scared to like do stuff on their own. So they just want like a buddy to do it with. I don't think that's the right way to do it. But also like me and Ben do like push each other where it's like, hey, like you're slacking. And like because we were friends first, that's not like a
hard thing to like.
Yeah, that's not like a hostile conversation. Like, it's just like friend to friend. Like,
yeah. That's cool, bro. So like what are the defined roles for both of you?
Ben's like a lot of like back end stuff, just like, and also like acquisition too, because obviously like, he is the personal brand between the two of us. So like acquisition, and then also just a lot of the like back end, like tech, like infrastructure kind of stuff. Like a lot of stuff I don't even understand and I don't really want to understand it. And then I do like a lot of the like fulfillment, like client communications, just like make like a lot of like the ops stuff. And then also like a lot of the copywriting too.
Yeah. Like Kishan was saying that like you could just spin out a VSL in like an hour.
Yeah.
You've just done it so many times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like VSLs, sales pages, webinars, like all that stuff's like easy for me. Like emails, like all that kind of stuff is easy. And it's like I can keep up with. We've never hit a point where we feel like we're doing too much. It's always like, how can we like, it's usually a game of just like building our like best like dozen clients. It's like, this guy is like not really like
so swap
working
them out with another
exactly
one.
Yeah. So like we've never reached a point where it feels like overwhelming, and I think that's good because like that's when you start to make like bad decisions. Like when you're not like super overwhelmed with fulfillment, you're able to like take a step back and be like, okay, like what's working, like what's not working, what direction do I want to take this, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like unconventional.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Is that like the vision for the future is just to continue with this structure, or do you guys want to like blow it wide open? Like what's the bigger plan?
I don't really know. I think we need to open up like a little more like of a consulting side of it, just because like 95% of people we get on calls with are not good fits. Like we still want a product for them.
Yeah.
Just like help them scale. And then also like, I think long-term, either having like offers that we like help build from the ground up, like you're the face of this, we'll do everything else, kind of like running like private equity almost, where it's like, you know, like having like a portfolio of just like 5 different
like the
offers.
acquisition.com model.
In a way, but just like I feel like he's not super involved with like the day-to-day stuff. He's more like just on the top
Consulting.
of it. Yeah. But like, you know, if we had like a portfolio of like 5 different offers that we work very closely with, and it's like, you know, instead of being like a 90-day contract, it's like an 18-month contract or something.
Yeah.
So
I think the lowest hanging fruit for you guys is to go into the info space. Just have your own info product, because you guys already know how to scale info.
yeah, I know. That's kind of the funny part. Is like we've gotten so good at doing it for other people, but neither of us have never really done it for ourselves. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly. And I think with Ben's personal brand, I mean, you guys could do it pretty quickly, because even though like he doesn't have a gigantic following, like he's got a good base on TikTok, he's got a good base on Twitter, like he's got enough to the point where like your guys' skill as info marketers would definitely make up for not being like ginormous.
Yeah, and the thing that people like have a misconception about too is they think you need to be like basically famous to launch an offer. Like you don't need to at all. There's so many people that are crushing it that you've never heard of. And it's just like they're just they've got their offer really dialed in, or their audience is very like intent driven for the niche that their offer's in. Like whatever it may be, but like there's so many guys who you've like never heard of, and you're like, whoa, like they're doing this much, or you know, like their stuff is this good, like stuff like that. So I think it's never like I kind of had that misconception too. I was like, you need to be like basically famous to have an offer.
Bro, how'd you get into sports cards? Because I feel like when we first met, that was your thing, and Andre and I were doing it, and it was kind of funny.
I was like collecting when I was little, and then everything that I've done, like every opportunity I've had, has always been just from like meeting a person. So I just met a guy who was like really big into sports cards. He was like, hey, like he basically just kind of like took me under his wing, and that's like what I was doing for 2-3 years, like full time basically, like while I was in school. And then I started to learn about like e-com and like this kind of stuff. I had my own brand. I realized I didn't want to do that because again, it's like the opposite of who I am. I don't want to sit at my desk and not talk to anyone all day and just click away. Like I want to be, you know, like talking to people. So it was like, it wasn't very like fun for me. I was like, you know, it wasn't enjoyable at all. So I sold my brand and then started doing agency stuff.
Yeah. Dude,
and that was the whole, what was it, like the travel case? Right?
Yeah.
You sold one of those companies, right?
Yeah.
You had an exit before you got into like the agency.
It wasn't big, but it was just like, I just wanted it off my plate. It was becoming like a more stressful thing than fun. I was like, I'm done with this.
Has that whole market just like tanked? Because you guys got out of it, I've really heard.
It wasn't like it was at the peak, but like it's sustained.
It hasn't tanked, but it was definitely like in a bubble that'll probably never be in again.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah,
like the beginning.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's the most expensive card you ever sold?
Like 45.
Damn.
What was it?
Joe Burrow cracked ice. Dan loved it.
Damn.
45 grand?
Yeah.
For a card? Was that in the bubble or?
No, it was like, I don't know, end of 21, beginning of 22. I don't remember.
Jeez.
How much did you get the card for?
Yeah, you're never like, you know, your margins on cards are usually like 20, 30% depending on when you bought it. So like, you know, it's not like paid $0.
And got 45 grand.
Yeah, I don't remember what I paid for it, but you know, it's like the thing that I didn't like about the whole card game is like none of these guys were like actually trying to like better themselves in any other area of life. It was like this was just like their hobby, and like they were just like,
oh, bro, the people in the card industry were just the worst.
Yeah, like
they were like all old and just like
it's
pissed
like
off.
It's very different being around like young people who are like trying to improve themselves in every way, and then being around like those guys. Like obviously, I still have a lot of love for all of those people that I knew from that like game, but it's very different like being boys with people who are like actually like have big like visions for their futures rather than like people who are just kind of like, you know, like they're just doing this as like a means to an end.
It's the opposite of having a vested interest with somebody. Like, you're like, you feel like you're on a journey scaling a company with your boys. Before it's like, how can I pay you as little for that card to sell it to that guy for as much as humanly possible?
Exactly.
It's the flip game. Yeah. It's like,
but also like there are a lot of really cool people that do it. So it's very different crowds though.
Yeah.
Bro, I remember we were here like maybe 2 years ago and you're just like on eBay, just scrolling.
Yeah, that's like, that was my life for like 2 years.
That's crazy.
It was fun.
Did you go to school or anything or no?
Yeah, I graduated.
From?
USF.
Oh, okay. What'd you graduate in?
I don't remember. No, I'm kidding. I got like 3 minors because I just wanted to stay longer because I wasn't ready. Like, I love Tampa so much. I was like, I need to stay. Like, I can't graduate.
Yeah, it's like major. What's that?
Yeah, it was finance, and then I had like a bunch of minors.
Did you know for a fact like you weren't getting a job after college? Like
no, because I didn't realize any of this stuff even existed until I was like 20.
Yeah.
So like sophomore year, I thought I was gonna be an accountant. And then I found out about all of this stuff like junior year, and then by like senior year, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was Christian's arc as well.
That was mine.
Accounting.
Yeah,
bro.
I was really excited to be an accountant too. I loved accounting.
What?
Yeah, it was like my favorite class ever.
It's so boring.
No, you were doing it wrong.
Probably.
Yes.
You were doing FIFO, bro.
You ever get in trouble from that apartment that you remember? You chucked some bottle like.
Oh, we chucked a lot of bottles. Whenever there was like any like big occasion, there's this factory across the thing from our apartment. We would just throw like bottles of liquor on it.
I remember one of those nights. I was only there once.
I don't know. No one's gonna watch.
Like,
no, you didn't do that. You're just joking.
I mean, the college house. They've probably seen that a billion times. What I want to know is, right now, I've definitely seen you like start to post a little bit more. Like the car selfie videos. You go on fucking great rants.
Yeah.
Is that somewhere you want to start a YouTube channel for yourself just to have it? Because I think you don't need it to acquire clients, but you obviously like working with all these guys. You see the value in having a personal brand. So is that something you want to get more into?
Yeah, I like it's not like my biggest priority, and it probably should be. But I think it just opens up a lot of doors, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of like the same thing as having a good network. It's like you you have like that thing, and then you are sometimes like astonished with like kinds of fruits that it'll bring you. It's like, whoa, like this was off of like an intro, and like now, you know, like it's done this for me. So like I think personal brand's kind of the same way. And like I said, it's like the common denominator from all of the guys that you know that are crushing. Like not to like none of our clients are like 150 IQ, like, you know, David Goggins, like work ethic. It's because their brand is like carrying them. And like, obviously they're smart people on top of that. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's not my biggest priority in the world, but it definitely is more of a focus now than it was before. And like I said, too, I've only been doing like online business full time because I was doing cards the whole time while I was doing business. So, like my focus was so split. I've only been doing business full time for like 8 months.
That's crazy.
I was doing cards like basically full time, like even when I was living in Miami. And then I got out of it in like July of last year because I was like, this isn't like what I want
long term. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that this doesn't align with like what I'm trying to do long term. So and I knew it was really taking away from business because it's like it is a whole nother business that you're running, and it's like no matter how like little attention you want to bring to it, like you still have to. It's still taking up like mental space all the time.
Yeah. So you say like all your clients are carried by their brands, like they have a following for a certain type of make money online. Like what do you think the most lucrative space is right now to be in? Like Shopify?
Like the most lucrative biz op?
Yeah, like what is everybody doing that's carrying them to all these?
Honestly, Amazon, I feel like is, like a lot of our biggest clients are doing Amazon, but to me there's no like biggest like space. It's more of just like how do you position yourself in that space and like kind of your unique mechanism and why. Because like at the end of the day, like all of this information is commoditized. Why is someone going to buy from Amazon guy number 3 versus Amazon guy number 7?
Yeah.
It's not really because of their results, because like at the end of the day, like you don't really know their results. Like you can't just throw numbers out there anymore because everyone has big numbers. There's no like black and white answer to like what's the best space. I think like for beginners, the best thing that you could possibly start is like TikTok UGC or high ticket sales, depending on your personality type. Or copywriting too. I don't think there is one best space because there's people crushing in every space. So it's like, I think thinking that there's one best space is almost just like kind of narrowing your view too much. Yeah. Like, I think that you should build what you do around who you are first and like think back to like what interested you a lot when you were a kid, or like what was your personality type when you were a kid. Like I was always like, not necessarily a popular kid, but I was always very social. And I was like, I know I want something where like I get to like connect with people, and I get like a lot of my days that like I don't see my clients as like clients.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like draining at all. It's just like they're my friends. So
scaling companies with your boys.
Exactly.
You ever seen the show Mad Men?
No.
No? Oh,
I don't watch TV.
You should watch that show because that's like similar to how they run the agency.
Yeah.
Like Don Draper's the moat. They're having a good time with clients, going out to dinners, having drinks, and like the personal relationship just matters so much.
Yeah, it's like the likability of the person.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what sells the product.
Yeah, exactly.
That's usually most cases,
what personal brand comes down to too. Yeah, it's like, you know, at a certain point, you can only set yourself apart so much with like your offer or like your VSL doesn't matter. It matters like if people like you, and then you have a good VSL like after that. So it's like, I think people who are selling like info products, like at the end of the day, they're all kind of selling like their like themselves almost. Like people are buying your offer because they want to be like you in some way.
Yeah. And I feel like most people like see themselves in the creator a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
With those people.
They want to buy from people that they align from. So it's like, you need to always like keep yourself down to earth a little bit and just like, because if you try way too hard to be too flashy or whatever, no one like, no, and everyone can see through it now. I think that's a big thing too. I think authenticity is very like important.
I think that's why Ben has the audience he does as well, because like his content is so laid back.
Yeah, Ben's
and it's so authentic.
Yeah, Ben to me is like very authentic in terms of like he's not like overly flashy. He's not like, you know, he's just like, I know him from like before whatever, and like to me I still feel like he's aligned, and like a lot of my friends are that way.
Like they didn't change once they started getting the success.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not even like, well, yes, that, but also like they're able to convey themselves in a way that still is like true.
It's relatable.
Yeah, you can tell when people are bullshitting. Like it's really not hard.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest offer you've worked with where you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, and then it crushes?
Ben was working with like a junk removal offer, literally printed. Like,
really?
Yeah, like how to start your own
the
junk
market
removal
for
business.
that is massive.
All that blue collar stuff is super like untapped. Like no one talks about
for
it.
B2C, especially
Yeah,
info
B2C,
products.
yeah, because people can't conceptualize like, oh yeah, let me go like start like an Amazon business, but they're like, oh, like I want to make money like pressure washing. Like that's like so easy for them to conceptualize. So like there's a huge market for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like blue collar services,
exactly,
like home services, basically.
And yeah, like people like home service, like cleaning businesses, car detailing, like all that kind of stuff. Like there's a market for all of it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I feel like those businesses especially are like you said, they're so tangible and easy to understand, and like they're easy to like get to, like let's say like 10K a month.
Yeah, and like you have to remember too that like, you know, a lot of the traditional like biz op offers, they're primed towards like younger people who like understand the way that like ecom works or whatever, but like the rest of the world is like age 35 and up, and they have no grasp on that for the most part. So like teaching them how to build like a productized service around, you know, something as simple as like pressure washing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that makes a lot more sense to people in their heads. And like, you have way too much of a learning curve to take people through to like teach them about like how
funnels and webinars.
Yeah. Like
do they have like lead magnets in pressure washing? You just like blast their house and it's like, all right, that's a sample.
Yeah. Like, what's his name? Shoot. What's his name? We've worked with him.
Johnny?
No, not Johnny and Sergio, the other one. Josh Lester and Oliver. They teach people how to.
The cleaning business?
Like exactly.
House cleaning?
Yeah, exactly. Like their lead magnet, their content is like, hey, can I wash your house or your driveway or whatever? Like, I forgot what it is. It's been like a while.
Is he the one where his content strategy is like showing him like pitching people at the front door?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And like people see that and they're like, yes, it's like scary to like go and knock on someone's door like you're trick or treating, but they're like they see it. It's like so like tangible.
Yeah. I feel like that is usually the main mental barriers. Like that would be super scary, but then they see him do it and they're like, oh, it's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Do all your clients also have like a high ticket offer on the back end?
The majority, like to me, like it makes it a lot easier to scale when you have like a high ticket offer.
Yeah, it's so tough to be profitable on the front end with just
exactly
like you're only selling something that's
and also that's usually the easiest thing to fulfill on too, because those are like people who are willing to pay for high ticket are usually your higher quality customers, like people who
they're willing to do the work.
Yeah, like you would be surprised how many people get chargebacks on literally $1 offers.
Oh yeah,
like literally $1.
Yeah, I mean we have List Kit, which is like our low ticket product, and we get like so many failed payments on that.
Yeah,
compared to like Client Ascension, is like
it's just rare. Like it's 80-20. Like high ticket offer usually is your best customer. It's easier to outsource like different elements of the fulfillment for that. And it makes it the most worthwhile for you as like the offer owner. So
yeah. But I feel like a lot of times you need the low ticket offer just to bring people into your circle and get them comfortable enough.
Yeah.
To get onto the high ticket offer.
I agree. To me, it's all like different friction, like different points of friction, because if you have a really big audience, there's going to be like some people who will never get past watching your content. And then there's some people who are willing to invest in like a school group, like $27 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who are like, all right, like I'm willing to go a little bit deeper than that. Like I really believe in this, but I'm not willing to spend, $4,000 on this. Like, I'll buy like a $500 product. So like it kind of depends on the size of your following. But I think like whenever we're working with people who are just launching an offer for the first time, we always tell them to go high ticket first, because it's easier to work with people more like intimately and make sure that they get results if you're charging a higher price tag, because you're not going to want to baby your coaching students if they paid you $300. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
And that's the first thing you need proof of concept on, because if the high ticket doesn't work, nothing else matters.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to generate results there. You're definitely not going to be able to generate results with the low ticket.
Yeah. Like whenever we have people coming to us who like have an audience and they want to build their first offer, our advice is like always the same thing. It's like open up a high ticket, group, cap it at like 10 or 20 students. So that way you can really like focus on like making sure that your thing works and that other people are able to see success with it, and then scale it that way. Like then scale the high ticket, then build out a low ticket, then build out like a community membership kind of thing. And it makes it, the thing that I've learned too is like, no matter what offer you have or no matter what like niche you're in, scaling like an info company is basically the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just different flavors. It's just like, you have a different avatar than this guy, but it's still the same process. Yep. So it's like, once you've done it 5, 10, 15 times, like we could scale any offer like confidently, as long as there's a few things in place. Like I have no like preference.
Mm. So one thing I've noticed too with like higher standard like service providers, like what you and Ben are doing, like they all also have like people they learn from.
Yeah.
So like, who are some guys that you guys learn from?
Honestly, bro, like just watching what my friends are doing in their business too. Like I think that's a big thing. Like Ben has a couple more like we all buy like masterminds and stuff. I wouldn't say there's one in particular that is really like, I wouldn't say there's someone who's like directly above me who I'm like, and maybe I need to find that person who's like directly above me who I can just take like straight up advice from. Because just like what me and Ben do isn't necessarily like, there's not a lot of people doing it. Yeah. We have like a couple, like Kieran's been a big help. He ran an agency, Converte. They do really well for their clients. He's been a big help. There's like guys like that who are more involved with their service delivery, like kind of the way we are. But that's the thing I've learned too, is like not a lot of people could, I'm not trying to sound like cocky or whatever, but like a lot of people couldn't have like the mental, like it is kind of like a lot sometimes. Yeah. Like, damn, like, like,
because it's not like a wash.
It's not a simple thing to do. So it's like, there's not like a ton of people. And I think it's kind of growing now with like the whole like growth operating thing. But
yeah.
Like we all know about like,
is that what it is? Growth operator?
I mean, that's
like the buzzword now.
That's the buzzword, but it's just like give someone 50% of your business to go start a school group. So I don't know. Like obviously it works. Like there are people who are making a lot of money with it, but also it's like, it's not necessarily that simple.
No, it never is. You always have to come up with the next idea.
It's the exact same way that dropshipping. It's like go find a winning product and then just build the link.
And it's like never that easy.
Yeah, that's like the first 1% of it. Like,
Yep.
After the fact, yeah.
Why do most info businesses have such a short life cycle? Because that's one of the things that like we've noticed. Like competitors will like pop up to Client Ascension, and they'll actually like have months where it's like, oh shit, they're printing, they're taking market share from us, and then they're usually just gone in like 12 months.
I think because a lot of them, and I think people just always want like shiny object. Like, they want to feel like they're in early on something and this is new. And this is like, cause I thought the same way when I was starting out. I was like, no, like too many people are doing this thing. Cause I wasn't good at what I was doing yet. So I was scared of competition. That's when people worry about saturation, is because they know like internally, like they want to be playing. Yeah. They want to be playing like a blue ocean. Cause it's like, no one else is competition. So this way, like I can, do what I want to do. But I think that like people naturally have like shiny object where it's like, this guy's been teaching this for a while. Like I'd rather go with this new guy who's teaching the same thing, but he calls it a different word and he's just like newer. So like I want to, like people love like novelty. Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. I also think a lot of people like just make their money in info and kind of move on to other things. I think that another big thing I've noticed too is like some people will have like a really big like burst when it comes to like when they first launch and they're just like doing really well and they don't really know how to sustain that like longevity.
They don't have the process, like the systems in place.
Yeah, because they're not really running their stuff the right way. They're just kind of like falling into like a really good like groove, and then once things go south, they're like, shoot,
they don't know how to fix it.
I don't really know what to do.
They don't know how they even got there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, you can scale really quick, but it also comes crashing down just as fast if you don't do it the right way.
Facts.
How do you get in the zone to like write, just like lock in and write a really good piece of like a sales letter or something?
I have like, and I coach in a couple groups now, so I kind of teach people. I don't really have like a process, but what I do like to do is I always like to create safety nets for myself because I know that naturally I'm not going to be like creative all the time. So like if I have to write like a sales letter, I'll like go on a walk and I'll just write down like a bunch of like random thoughts like on a note on my phone, and that's like my safety net, and that's like my like safety for me to be like, okay, I can forget about this thing because I got all my thoughts down, and then I'll come back to it like a day later and I'll be like, all right, like what did I write yesterday? And then from there I'll build it out like 15%. I'll do like an outline, and then from there I'll like take another day off, and then I'll like build a more detailed outline, and that's like I'm like 40% of the way at that point. But mentally, to me, it's already done. Because it's like, even though it's only 30% of the way like completed, like mentally, like I've gotten everything.
The ideation process.
Yeah, I've gotten all the hard stuff out of the way. Now it's just piecing it together. Like syntax to me is a big, I don't know if I'm using that word in the right context, but like syntax is important because I'll be like, okay, like I want to take them through this point first, and then I'm going to use this. And then it's kind of like a puzzle at that point. But the hardest part is the first like 10 or 15%. So like I always like for all of our clients, I will make a running list in my phone of just unique content angles, because all content comes from angles. Like you can have one angle for like a high ticket sales offer and turn that into 15 different pieces of content, 15 different emails, 15 different YouTube videos off of the one angle. So like for all of our clients, I'll have like just a running list of angles in my phone. So that way, whenever I'm like, shoot, like I need to like script this out or whatever, I have like my safety net in place
it's like
already.
Prompts, basically.
Yeah, it's basically just like me like making it so that way when I'm not feeling creative, I can still do the work. Because so many people are just like they want to like write everything like cold turkey. They just want to be like, all right, like I've got to like do this.
Yeah.
And they just sit down like crap. Like I can't think of anything. But it's like I've already like gotten over that because I've built in like safety nets. And I don't know. I've always been good at writing. Like I've read a copywriting book or done a copywriting course or anything. I just started writing. So like, I just got better by doing. So I've always been good at writing since I was like younger, and it's always just been something that's come natural to me. So like, I'm probably not the best person to ask for like copywriting.
No, that's a good
I was
process.
gonna say it's a great process.
Yeah,
it's like getting the angles, the like hardest part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like as soon as we onboard a client, I'm already like thinking of like a dozen angles in my head. Like, how can I spin this? And I'll just
so like for like an Amazon client, like what are angles, like what do they look like?
Here, I'll show you. So this is one of our clients. I won't dox him, but like literally, like as soon as we start working with someone, I just have like a running list in my phone of just like these are like evergreen angles. Like there's like 25 different angles. Like they could all be pieces of content, whatever I need them to be. So like it's low risk versus starting a brand. It's existing customers of that brand. You're just like you're feeding the demand. Like you are the supply. You're tapping into the biggest business on earth, Amazon. Like you don't have to worry about your like platform failing. Like if Amazon fails, a lot of people. The
eyeballs are already there.
2/3 of people are third party sellers. Most people don't know that. Like 66%, or I forget what the number is exactly. But like the majority of times when you buy like a name brand product, you're not buying it from the brand. You're buying it from a third party seller. So like that's like a common misconception where like I feel like just giving people that aha moment. It's like, oh, you're not buying from Clorox, so you're buying from a guy who's reselling Clorox.
It's like, what is that guy that's reselling it doing?
Exactly.
I want to learn.
How do you put yourself in the mind of a normie?
Exactly. That's basically what it is. It's like having a simple and predictable business. It's like having an Amazon business is very low, like variables. It's just like, does this product work? Is it profitable? Okay, how can I source it? How do I
the data is so accessible.
It's like one of those things that's like meant for people who aren't very creative, because you don't have to be creative. Like it's very linear and it's very like boring in a way, but that's what some people need, and that's why it's like a good side hustle. You know, and these are kind of more like abstract angles for content, but like, yeah, I mean, to me, like every biz op, like you can kind of spin up like 10 to 15 different angles, and that's all you need, because there's not infinite angles. There's infinite ways that you can position the same angle.
Yeah.
So like, for example, like basically every piece of content I've written, or every like script or every VSL I've written for like an Amazon offer, it boils down to one of those core angles. It's just how do you want to position that, and how do you want to like spice it up?
Yeah.
So I think like you really have to make things simple for yourself. Like, you know, you're not always going to be feeling like this creative genius, but like stuff still has to get done. So like you need to figure out ways to make it easy for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need that process and like the safety net's baked in, like you talked about.
It's a good process. Christian, you do something similar?
I feel like cold email is a little bit different.
Yeah. It's definitely different.
If I have to write long form, yeah. But I feel like there's a way to like kind of predict when you're going to feel like you can write, like afternoon after I work out, get some sun.
For me, it's always like the first like call that we'll have with a client, like an onboarding call or whatever. That's when I'm like, my mind is like firing the most. 'Cause I'm like, oh shoot, like, you know, like I'll be like thinking of things like on that onboarding call or on that strategy call or whatever. And I just write them down then. 'Cause I'm like, I don't want to have to remember this for later.
You just got to put yourself in a normie shoes, just like drive through rush hour traffic.
Honestly, because like,
and just go to Chipotle.
Amazon's not a good example, but if we're working with a client who we've never worked with that vertical before, I almost walk myself through like the normie process. I'm like, okay, so like, what are you doing? Like, how does this work? Like whatever. And you're like walking through that firsthand. So that's when you start thinking of angles. Like basically like all of your angles are going to be reverse engineering people's objections and people's like limiting beliefs around that opportunity and like why they're hesitating to start. So you need to like Fazio talked about this in his like VSL video, like the best VSLs are really like your entire purpose is just making the sales call a collection call. So you need to kind of walk yourself through all of the misconceptions and like limiting beliefs that people are going to have and reverse engineer that into your VSL. So take the most common objections from your salespeople and from beginners. Like testimonials are a big thing too. Like if you go read through people's like long form testimonials, like you can kind of start to boil down very common misconceptions that people had about the business. Like, oh, I thought you had to do this, but it turns out that's really easy. Or it turns out like they did this for me. Or it turns out this isn't really a part of it. Cause like it's different for people who run businesses. Like we think very differently than the people who you're selling to. So you have to like kind of put yourself in their shoes, like you said.
Yeah. It's hard to do.
Yeah, because it's like so foreign.
I can't do it. It's like always been my barrier for creating content. It's like I try to create it like at like such a high level of like the technical aspects of things, and then like I lost them already.
Yeah, I mean, dude, because like I only found out about all this stuff like 3-4 years ago, so I still vividly remember like my like limiting beliefs and my like misconceptions. Yeah, I'm just like this kept me stuck for so long because I thought you had to do this way. So like to me, that's kind of like the way that I think about whatever I'm writing for clients too. I'm like, okay, like if 20-year-old me was starting this, like what like overthinking would I do that would prevent me from starting, and how can I get people over that?
I got a good one. I feel like most people when they're getting into business and trying to like systemize their processes, their number one obsession is like creating SOPs.
Bro, yeah, like I went through Iman's programs and like I bought all of his programs. They're all really good, but I like if I saw the way that my agency runs now or our agency runs now compared to like what. Like, bro, like literally our SOPs is like, we have like a Notion, like calendar, and I have a yellow sheet of paper. Like I have a yellow pad of paper. My entire life runs off of that. Yeah.
Runs off like documented SOPs on how to do things.
Yeah. It's like those things to me kind of come naturally. And like maybe me and Ben are kind of dumb with this, but we'll be like, shoot, like we could have really done this like way better this whole time. Like, and then we'll just be like, we should probably like do that. People think that everyone who like is doing good numbers has everything figured out. You can kind of just like free ball your way to like, you know,
well, that's how you learn.
Exactly. And like, you can't be scared of that. So,
and that's like what leaves room for innovation, I think too. Cause if everything's just like you're following a process and you're not even like thinking.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You can't like be a bot. You have to like think freely, and you have to almost like it's okay to like follow someone's process, but you almost have to like remove yourself from it for a little bit and be like, all right, like how would I do this like if I was just thinking for myself?
Yeah.
And then, you know, figure out like a happy medium between like what people are advising you to do and what feels right or what makes sense to you logically, because there is no like rules or there is no like black and white. Like it's always somewhere in the middle.
Love it. Think you got a reservation coming up here?
Yeah.
Where are you eating at? Meat market?
Meat market. Wait, what time we started? Like an hour ago?
Yeah, we're over an hour.
Oh, damn.
Gouda tots?
Yeah, it's just been spitting, bro.
Top 3 sides for a steak dinner.
Any steak dinner or
Are we
meat
talking
market?
meat market specifically?
Oh, meat market.
I don't really get that many sides.
Just
like
Gouda tots?
Gouda tots are good.
Gouda tots. Dude, I love the cream spinach there.
That's the best side, yeah.
I don't do vegetables.
Not a veggie guy. The cookie, if that counts as a side.
Yeah,
it's
the
a must.
cookie. Truffle butter.
So good. So now I'm hungry. Now I want a steak.
Yeah, now I want to just go eat.
All right, let's finish it out on a story because you work very closely with your boys. I want one good story that you remember. Maybe you guys did a webinar when you guys were all on vacation and just fucking crushed it, or like you helped one person who was just starting from scratch, like scale up to a crazy number month one.
Dude, I mean, me and Ben will literally be sitting there like moderating a webinar. Like he used to play a lot of online roulette, and we would be like gambling like during it. And like I remember we had one where we like crushed it. Like I won't give like exact numbers, but like it was probably like 4 or 5x what we were expecting. And me and Ben are just sitting there like refreshing. We're just like jumping up and down like in his apartment. Like it was like the funniest thing in the world. Stuff like that happens all the time because it's just like a lot of people in my position would be very jealous of like other people's success. But like when you're like boys with them from the beginning, it's like very like fulfilling. It's like seeing like for example, like Ben's like blowing up on YouTube now. I remember like 2 years ago, he would have like on all of his like bucket list, but just like things that he wanted to get really good at. Like he really wanted to be big on YouTube, and I know that this is gonna be like his like thing, and I'm like proud of him because that was like on his thing for a while. And he's like, you know what I mean? And it's like it's really cool to like watch your friends grow because like same thing with my brother, dude. Like my brother like shocks me.
Dude, he's a
like,
beast.
Yeah,
he was on our sales team. Is fucking.
He's
great.
literally been
very
business
professional
for like a year.
and like quick too.
Yeah, he's literally been in business for like a year. Like he was making $0 like a year ago. So it's just crazy. Like it makes it fun. It also just gives you like a really big like sense of abundance because it's just like these are just my friends.
Yeah.
And it's like imagine like everyone else. And it's like you start to think about like how like abundant the world is, and it's not so like everyone thinks that like everyone's always eating off your plate. It's not
there's enough to go around for everyone.
Exactly. And it's like no one's ever eating off your plate. Like there's so much like room for everyone, and like there's also so much room for people who are just like willing to do things the right way and like, you know, like really like just put effort into things. Like so many people just try to like skid by with as little effort, as little like attention to detail. Like how can I get this as easily as possible? But it's like you learn, like especially like in our like industry, people who just apply themselves and really like care, like really outperform most people. Yeah. Like there's like, for example, like Luke's students, like a lot of Luke's students are like literally 19 years old. Why is it that 19-year-olds are making like 3 times more than the average American salary? It's not because they're like super smart. It's not because they're super talented. It's because they're willing to just like try. Yeah. Like there's a reason why like most like info product sales teams are literally run by like 20-year-olds. Yeah. Like literally my brother's 21 and his entire sales team is like 19. Like think about that. Yeah, exactly. Like that's like a company. That's literally like a company. Yeah. So it's like, it's just like when you like see that and you like think about like how like I used to think even when I was in college and just like how like limited my like worldview was. It's like, whoa, like, you know, like this kid didn't know about business 3 months ago. Now he's making this much. This kid didn't know about business 6 months ago. Now he's making this much. So it's like, it just goes to show you like literally just like put yourself in a position to get lucky and it'll happen.
Abundance mindset. It's fire, bro.
I think it's a good place to wrap it. Yeah. Christian, you got something else?
Has to be a good top 3 question I can end with.
Shoot.
Favorite 3 athletes in the sports card game that made you...
No, don't ask me that. Ask me like my 3 favorite ways to gamble.
3 favorite table games at a casino.
I'll just give you my 3 favorite ways to gamble. So like, 1, blackjack.
Yeah. Blackjack is definitely the
2,
most fun.
meme coins. 3 is like prop bets with your friends. Like we'll do this all, or we all stopped gambling, but like before it'd be like, give me a line to like that, like I'll go do this. Yeah. Like, oh, like minus 180. All right, bro, I'll take that. Like I'll take your bet. Like,
jeez. I thought you meant like riding like a player, like LeBron's gonna have over 26.
No. Like literally, like what are
in real life, dude?
Yeah, like in real life, like what are the odds I go like knock over that vase? What are the odds I go push over that child?
Push over the child at plus 1200.
Nice. Yeah. I'll take that plus 1200.
Oh, 100%. Kid's going flying. Yeah. That's a good way to wrap it. That's a good way to wrap it.
Appreciate
it, brother. Thank you so much.